Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Mets in the UK podcast. I'm Tracey and I'm joined today by the beautiful Toria. Hey Tor,
Hello, hello.
how's
How are
you?
you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that's because of jet lag plus West Coast games as well.
Stupid West Coast games.
Yeah. Fun
Stupid means just
times.
watching them, arguably. But yeah.
Eh,
Anyway, we'll be home soon. It's all good. And then it's only midnight. It's fine.
Yeah, midnight is better than 3 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, no. I prefer 3 in, but midnight is better than 1:40 and 2:40. Stupid, pointless times.
Yeah, I get
But
you.
I'm sure what's at the top of their mind when they're setting the schedule is how it works for UK fans. I'm sure that's absolutely
Damn well should be. It
what's top
absolutely
of their
should
mind
be.
when they're thinking about it. But 3:10, no problem. We've had this discussion before. Start the day early, get going. First one's a bit of a struggle. After that, just start the day early. Fine.
Have a little
1:40,
nap.
1:40, 2:40, just kills me. But anyway, hey ho, we're here.
1:40, 2:40, there's not enough time really for a proper nana nap.
No, it's like it's I tweeted the other day on one of it's literally the middle of the night. What am I supposed to do with that? There was one on
Yes.
Friday night. I think Friday nights was I can't remember, it was 1:40 or 2:40. And I literally Friday night was actually a 3 o'clock game, but for some stupid reason I woke up at 2 and then couldn't get back to sleep. And I had 3. I think I sent you the screenshot, didn't I? I had like 3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I didn't have much more that night because of jet lag. Because I just got back from New York.
You did. Tell us all about it.
I was lucky enough to go with my husband to the David Wright retirement, and it was amazing. It was so emotional. I was not the only one crying. 100% was
I'm
not the only
sure.
one crying. Which my husband did give me a bit of ribbon for, but it was emotional and it was so well done by the Mets as well. Yeah, it was great. Unfortunately, there was a loss that night, but
Yeah.
I am now, I think I'm 8-1 on games that I've attended at City for the season.
That is a good record. Long may it continue.
Yeah.
I think the whole weekend, the thing that was so lovely is they kind of on the broadcast they gave the whole weekend over to it. So there was loads on SNY, there was loads on MLB Network. So we just got lots of lovely Davidness.
Yeah.
And the other thing that came across is, at these events, like people are going to say nice things, right?
Yes.
It's expected, but you could just tell every single person that spoke about David, whether they'd coached him, played with him, had any interaction with him whatsoever on any level.
Yeah.
It was all super genuine. Like he is genuinely beloved by everyone. I've never come across a Mets fan that doesn't adore him.
No.
And quite frankly, if there is one, I don't want to know him.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly.
And you can tell sometimes people are at these events and they're expected to say the right things, but it didn't come across that way at all. And for us to just be showered with lots of David content, I mean, some of it was heartbreaking as well. But for the most part, it was lovely. And we were all so pleased that you were able to be there. We were all insanely jealous, of course.
Yes.
Very, very pleased that you were able to be there and to take it in and to rep Mets in the UK and just enjoy everything that weekend brought.
Yeah, it was so lovely, and seeing his kids from like when they were tiny,
exactly. Yeah,
and seeing them all
And
grown
then do
up.
the first pitch.
Yes,
All lined up. So
yes. And Brooks with his little jacket.
yeah,
That was so cute.
it was very cute.
But like you say, nobody has had a bad word to say against David. Even players that played against David
Mm-hmm.
say what a leader he is, what a competitor he is, what a genuine guy he is, and that really came across in his speech.
Yeah.
And I watched the David Wright documentary while I was
Mhm.
over there that was on SNY, and it had players that played against him on a regular basis, like Ryan Howard and
Yeah.
people like that. And even they were like, I don't like playing against him, but he's a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And how about the rest of your trip? Because you had, I think you only had like the one loss whilst you were there, right?
Yeah, and that was the David game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the rest of the games were really good. Particularly the last game that I saw on the
The Angels
Tuesday,
one. Yes.
which was
Yeah.
the comeback game, and oh, Alvarez doing Alvarez things. And it was so nice seeing Alvarez back in the bigs. And I don't know if it was mentioned because I obviously didn't watch the broadcast or
Mhm.
anything, that he had his daughter's name
Yes. Yeah. They had a
on
few
his
close ups
equipment.
of that. Yeah. It's really cute. Little Renato over there. It was very sweet.
It's all cuteness at the moment, and I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I don't ask, but I bet
Mhm.
you've been up for every bloody game.
Me? No. Uh, in fairness, I have, other than I only watched the first inning on Sunday. Because by the time I got to Sunday,
Yeah.
as I told you, I only had a few hours on Saturday, had a busy day Saturday, watched Saturday, then had a really long day on Sunday. And even though in theory it was early, it was only midnight,
Only.
I got home around 11:30. I sorted myself out, got into bed, put the game on, and I was I was thinking, oh, I might make a couple of innings. No,
Hmm.
one. I managed one, but other than that, yes, of course, I've been watching, and
Yeah.
especially, especially the obviously the Angel series because my soft spot team. So I was trying to, I was tempted to hibernate for that series since I'd planned to be there in person with you for that series. So I was a little bit upset about that, but I couldn't let it stop me watching them.
Yeah. I watched all of Sunday's game, I think. Yes.
Mhm.
So I watched the football first.
Yeah, yeah,
Well done to the Lionesses, must be said.
absolutely.
Um, Jo is not with us because she's celebrating the Lioness win in London with family and friends. So we're insanely jealous of that, Jo. I would call you various names, but it's a family podcast.
This is
Yeah,
true. This is true.
yes. But yes, insanely jealous of that and hope you're having a fab time.
Mm.
But
Also worth
yes,
mentioning that Bald Spice is still on his travels as well, and also having a wonderful time. So,
I love that that's become a thing.
oh, it's totally a thing. Cheers, CJ. It's totally a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think he's back with us next week, is he? I think it's the week after.
I believe it's the week after. We will be better prepared next week. This week's a bit of a wing it and hope and a prayer podcast.
Yeah.
But the Mets have been on a winning streak other than yesterday, and it
Right.
has been fabulous. What are your thoughts for the games over the last week, Tor?
So of course, Joe and I were a bit cheeky and recorded on Monday last week because the grown-ups left us to our own devices, and we wanted to watch the Lionesses last Tuesday. So we had, since our last pod, we had the whole of the Angel series, which is unusual because normally we've started a series. So of course we had the sweep of the Angels. I mentioned
Mhm.
obviously I wanted to watch them because they're my soft spot team, but they are only my soft spot team, and I had said that I wanted them. They did what I wanted them to do and took the Phillies series leading up to the series against us. so that they could then be ready to just roll over and let us sweep them, which they did. We had a couple of come from behind wins, games 1 and 2 in that. And it was game 1 where Elvie, Acuna, and Beatty all scored. Elvie had a great series overall, as you mentioned. It was great for him to be back. Game 3 of that series was Nimmo's game. He was outstanding. Bullpen was great. More on them shortly. And then, of course, we moved on to sweep the Giants, which I'm not going to lie, I wasn't expecting us to do. Nimmo continued to be hot. Juan Soto, we now have to be careful about how we refer to them.
Which Soto, yes.
Juan Soto, yeah, was solid. Even my Ty got in on the game and got a run in. I have to mention Ty whenever possible, of course. Game 1 of that series was just really comfortable. It was just lovely. Like, it was, I mean, again, that was the one where I think I woke up and it was just more comfortable. Like, it's very rare as a Mets fan we have a comfortable game like that. We were up quite early. Didn't look like we were shaky at all. It was fine. Game 2 of that series was a bit tighter. Peterson looked a little bit shaky in the first inning, but then quickly settled down. And I mentioned, obviously, I only saw that one inning of the midnight game. I watched it back, obviously. And you know, it was just a great feeling to have that run going, because at that point we're 7 unbeaten, 2 series sweeps. Because it felt like a little while since we'd had a series sweep. Everyone was being down. I mean, how quickly that's all been forgotten. I mean, you know, the world was ending 10 days ago.
Yes.
So, you know, we're currently still a game and a half up on the Phillies. They've lost a couple. Then, of course, we came into last night. Oh, it's also, we mentioned the Sotos. We had Gregory Soto come and join us. Reliever, and he made his debut in that series. He looked okay on debut, but then it was a little dodge last night. So last night, I mean, again, we have to talk about umpires, but in this, I mean, there were 1 or 2 of the calls that Soto got livid about were borderline fine, but I think it was a cumulative thing. I think because one of them was so blatant. I think that, and you know, it takes quite a lot, I think, for Soto to kind of lose his head like that. Mendy did absolutely the right thing, coming out and ensuring that it was him that got ejected and not Soto, because we can deal with Mendy not being there much better than we can with Soto not being there. So Emil Jimenez made it the Jimenez show, which was disappointing, and I think it just felt like everyone was just off last night. It just nothing quite went right. You know, you had Vientos looked like he was getting the home run, and then Tatis had that great robbery. The bullpen collapsed after Vientos had then got a grand slam, and was that in the 5th? At that point, I can't remember if it was the 4th or 5th. He got the grand slam. We were like 5-1 up at that point. But honestly, 5th, yeah. Until then, it didn't. There wasn't anything in it at all. We were 1-1 at that point, and deservedly so. It was kind of a bit of a nothing game, and then the bullpen came in and just collapsed. I like Brazaban. I don't know quite what got into him last night. It was like he was in a completely different place. He failed to cover first base on a play that in the end led to, it was like 3 runs coming in because he didn't get the out at that point. He was, my feeling is that he should have probably been pulled a little sooner than he was. Garcia came in and had a really good couple of solid innings. But then again, Mauricio came back and looked like he'd rescued it to the last out, always top of ninth. Looks like we're tied again. We're going to, see this out, get into the 10th at least, and then gave it up. And I think that was the disappointment last night. It wasn't that we lost that game. It was that we gave that game away. They're the losses that are harder to take.
Yes.
But let's not have recency bias. Before that, we'd won 7 on the bounce and we just got 2 series sweeps. So it is what it is.
And compared to where we were 10 days ago, we were half a game behind the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
We're a game and a half above the Phillies now. They're on more of a losing streak, just slightly, than we are, because they've lost 2, we've lost 1. It's all to play for.
Yeah, and I think I said, I can't remember if it was last week or the podcast, or it might have even been to a random person. Like the division lead is gonna, I think it's what we were chatting with Nick last week. The division lead's probably going to change like another 30 times. It's just, it is going to go back and forth. I think it's going to go to the wire unless one of us goes on a really good streak one way or the other. Either a great streak like we've just had of wins or an awful streak of losses. I mean, if the Phillies want to take their 2 losses and continue on a streak, that's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, totally fine with that. But it's, there's still, look at the Tigers, right? Everyone was raving about the Tigers at the start of the year. They were the best team in baseball by far, and now they're struggling. They've fallen off the cliff, and it's a long season, and there's still a long way to go. We're only just out of the All-Star break. There's a lot of baseball still to be played, and the beauty about it as well is it's one of the things I think I love most about sport in general, in league situations where it's not only your own result that matters, and we are getting to a time now. I think when we start getting, I tend to try and not get too hung up on results and standings until we get into August. Now we get into August. I'm sure we'll get onto the trade deadline in a minute, but once all that's shaken out and you get into August, that's when the big boys need to play. And that is when I'll start paying attention to where we're at and how the Phillies do. I can't avoid it, obviously, and we've enjoyed it, and I'll celebrate it in a moment, but I won't get hung up on it until we get into August, and then we know anything can happen throughout August and September. So let's hope that we get back to winning ways, and that we can go on that streak. And like I said, if the Phillies want to do us a favour and continue being poor, then crack on.
Yeah, and like you say about results and things like that, pre-season, a lot of the pundits were saying that it's going to be the Braves season again. And they are, as we record on Tuesday evening, they are 16 games behind the Mets.
Yeah.
Which I love to see, but still got like 2 months of play left.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot can happen in that time. All you need is someone to get injured, someone to get hot, something like that's like almost out of control of the team.
Someone to get banned.
Yeah, we'll be covering that. We'll be covering that. And yeah, that's all it takes to change a season. And like you say, I think Mendy absolutely did the right thing in defending his boy on Soto, because he quite easily could have got himself ejected, like a couple of the bench staff and coaching staff did in the Angels series, which was quite amusing.
That was
for me.
Funny. Howie at one point said something on the lines of, they're going to have to send Wayne Randazzo out with the lineup card.
Amazing. Wayne, we know that you do occasionally listen because we've had you on as a guest. Don't forget to check the
Mhm.
guest podcast playlist on YouTube. Bit of a plug there. Um, and yeah, would you have done it, Wayne, if you really had to?
Would you have taken no, God, that? I'm sure he
Yeah.
probably would have done back at City. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. And I watch a lot of Angels baseball, and they can lose their temper a little, but I've not seen them get like that.
Yeah. Well,
That was pretty outright.
if everyone I spoke to in New York was saying how much of an ump show the whole of
Mm,
MLB has become this year.
absolutely.
And it's beyond a joke now. We've covered it on previous podcasts, but something does need to be done about like if they consistently called a ball, a strike, whatever their particular zone is,
Yes.
it wouldn't be so bad.
Yes.
It's the inconsistency of it.
Exactly. And this is the thing, the players, they'll learn on their first time at the plate where that ump's zone is.
Yeah,
And they'll get it. And they'll remember that. So, and
yeah,
that's when they get wound up, when they go back the next time, or they've seen a pitch in the exact same place be called the other way for the other team. Like,
yeah, yeah,
pick your zone and stick to it, guys. Like, it might be a terrible zone. It could be 3 foot off the plate for all I care, as long as that is your zone and that's what you're using. Like, keep
yeah.
it.
Because players, when they go at bat, they'll talk to the ump. They'll say, "Why was that called a ball? Why was that called a strike?"
Exactly.
Not to contest the call, but to understand their zone.
Exactly
And
that.
if the ump doesn't know their zone or chooses not to know their zone,
Yeah.
then there are issues. And I think that everyone across Major League Baseball, other than the umps themselves, probably is feeling the same
Mm.
right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously sometimes the catchers try and use it to their advantage. They'll try
Mhm.
and frame pitches and things. But you can see when that happens, right? And
Yeah,
you can kind of forgive the ump in that situation. Because you say, for example, if it's Alvey framing a pitch, which he is very good at, you'll say, Alvey had him there, Alvey fooled him because he framed that really well. But you can see that when it's not that, that's the problems. And let's hope that ABS shows itself next season. Is all I can say. Yeah, there'll be a lot
yeah.
of that going on.
There will be a lot of head tapping going on. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely sure. Um, so you mentioned trades.
Mm-hmm.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking I wasn't so fussed about starting pitching until recently. I think that we have had some inconsistent outings. I'm thinking of you, Frankie Montas. I mean, when he's on it, he's fine.
Yeah.
Last night, again, he was a little dodgy. We're still struggling for length out of our pitchers. I mean, it could be that Senga and Manaya and Holmes are all stretched out all at the perfect time.
Hmm.
But I think if we can get a quality starting pitcher that can come now and regularly give us 7+ innings, great. There is whispers that Sandy Alcantara might be available. Marlins
Yeah.
might be open to trading him. I think,
Yeah.
though, that we would probably have to give up a little too much for him. It depends on the confidence levels of the organization in our
Mm.
starting pitchers. Definitely need bullpen. I mean, again, the bullpen over that 2-series sweep, so couldn't fault them. They were absolutely
Absolutely.
solid. We've added Gregory Soto. I still think that we need. I mean, it would take one injury, and
Yeah.
we're struggling again there. So I'd like to see relief, and I think that's where they're focusing. And then, of course, there's all the talk around centre field, which breaks my heart every time I'm seeing Ty not in a lineup. It is just making me very, very anxious.
Hmm.
Uh, I I understand if we can get a centre fielder that can produce more with the bat. I understand why Ty
Yeah.
is vulnerable in that position, because his his hitting isn't there, but his defense is just so good. So you've got to, if we get someone, they have got to match his defense
Yeah.
and upgrade the bat.
Okay.
I don't think that Jeff McNeil is the answer for an everyday centre fielder.
No.
I understand them wanting to keep him in the lineup again for his bat. Let's mention he's still been just solidly, consistently doing his thing. He had
Yeah.
like 3 walks last night, something stupid. He's just getting on base all the time, bless
Yeah.
him. But I don't think he's the answer full time. I would be happy if we didn't sign a centre fielder, but if we do, it's got to be a real upgrade with the bat. There's talk of Cedric Mullins, who is a solid defender. Maybe he can do it with the bat. There's talk of Luis Robert.
Yeah.
He's had a dodgy bit of time, but since the All-Star break, he's been doing well. It's almost like he knows he's in the shop window.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced with him, because I'd want to see that consistency with the bat. And then outgoings, I mean, I've said a couple of times, my feeling was that, I mean, we've got in the musical chairs of the babies, there's an odd seat out. There just isn't enough space for all of them to get the playing time that they need. And I said I felt like Vientos might be the odd one out. It's increasingly looking like that may be the case. And some of the comments that he has made recently, there was an article that Anthony DiComo did with him, and by all accounts, it was very candid, and very open and very honest. But almost, given that we're around the trade deadline, I almost think if it may have been overly open and candid. I wonder if he is maybe trying to engineer something, perhaps. Maybe he realizes like he's not getting the playing time that he wants. And so, he's putting himself out there to maybe be like, do you know what? Actually, I don't feel appreciated now. I'm ready to go. So, which would be, it'd be a shame. He's great, and obviously he got his grand slam last night. He can. We saw last year what he can do. I'd be happy for him to stick around, but I think one of them's going to have to go. What about you?
I mostly agree with you. According to, again, Anthony DiComo, when asked about the rotation last week, Mets president of baseball ops David Stearns said he'd be interested in arms that raise the ceiling of the team. So Alcantara is an obvious one.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease probably won't get traded.
No,
unfortunately.
I was interested in him in the off season. But no, he's not going anywhere.
And I think we need to bolster our bullpen as well. Probably a long arm, maybe like an 8th inning reliever as well, because Diaz going for 4 outs really makes me nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. Although we have got Buto back now.
Yes.
And that's been really encouraging. Brazoban, in theory, is that person. But as we saw last night, yeah, I mean,
I like Brazoban. He's been a pleasant surprise overall, but he has blips.
Yeah. And it's like a complete meltdown.
Yeah. So I think we need someone in to do the 8th, because, like I say, Diaz going for 4 outs makes me so nervous. And the times that I've seen him do recently, he seems to pitch too much in the 8th before going into the 9th, and has expended it all in the eighth.
Yeah.
One of the games I was at, he wasn't even in the ninth. He was done in the eighth, and then they brought Stanek in,
Yeah.
which is not ideal for your closer.
No, and it's not because ordinarily it's one or the other of them. So if you're having to burn both of them in one game, it's not what you want to be doing.
No. And as for centre field, I think Robert, he had a really good first year in the majors back in 2023. He got MVP votes. He was Silver Slugger that year. 38 homers that year, and he is a really good defensive centre fielder, I think.
Yeah.
I think he just feels a bit out of sorts in Chicago at the moment.
And that's a good argument. People are saying maybe a change of scenery will wake him up again, and you want to be playing on a kind of, sorry, Chicago, but perhaps a more elite team. Confidence breeds confidence. So there is an argument for that. Don't get me wrong, like I wouldn't be in the camp that is complaining if it happens. I think it would. I would just be mindful of what the deal is. There's talk that it might be a relatively cheap deal to have. If that's the case, fine. He's worth the risk, but as long as it's nothing major.
And like you say, success breeds success, confidence breeds confidence. If you're playing for a team that is currently 22.5 games behind their leader, there's not going to be much confidence there. There is not going to be the success there, obviously. And this is the second year on the bounce that they have had a season like that.
Yeah.
So I think that probably a lot of the players in the White Sox are feeling pretty down about the situation at the moment. I think getting a good defensive, offensive centre fielder will move Jeff back to second, which is his more natural position. I know he played centre in college and likes to play centre field, but I don't think it's his strongest position.
Nope.
But like you say, that then leaves a full seat for one of the three baby Mets at the moment. And I think Beatty has been making his case really well recently.
Absolutely.
Acuna still enough options to go back down again and get the at-bats that he probably needs, because he came back okay after his little stint in the minors. Maybe a case that the Mets brought him up a bit too early and that he needs that refinement in the minors. Which unfortunately feels like it leaves Vientos without the seat.
Yeah. Ronnie's not going anywhere, and I think he's kind of going to get a pass for a little while anyway because of how horrific his injury was, and he needs the time. He's lost a lot of time, so even though he is grouped with the baby Mets, you've got to remember that he's a year behind them developmentally, and yet he's still keeping pace with them. When he plays, generally he plays well. So, I think that Vientos and Vientos, he's got good value, so he is a good bargaining piece for us. And we can't. I've said this before. We can be sentimental about things. It was when we had all the Pete talk. Sentimentally, I wanted him to come back, but I also wanted it to be what was right for the organization, and that's what you have to think about with Vientos sentimentally. I'd love to keep the babies together. I'd love to think about what Vientos could be doing in a year, in 2 years, but we have to do what's right. And we're in such a strong position. We got so close last year. They have to go and take it now. We're in a position where we can win now, but we can also win in the future with the youngsters that we've got as well. And losing one of them, and that's before we've even touched the farm, which, as we've mentioned many times, is stacked right now. We might give some of them away, over the next couple of days. I fully expect a couple of the decent prospects. I think they'll protect the best prospects, but
Yeah.
I think some of the decent ones will be used. But that's because the standard of our farm now is so high, so we can use farmhands as trade pieces without touching some of the big boys on the full roster. So that's not a bad position to be in either. So I think, you know, we're in a position where you can kind of look to win now and win in the future, whereas ordinarily you're looking to do one or the other.
Yeah, with the farm, I think we've very much moved away from the attitude of former ownership, which was sell the farm and win now.
Yeah.
Whereas I think under the Cohens, it's keep the farm, win now, and be a bit clever about it.
Exactly. And protect the future.
Yeah, because under the previous ownership, there was a lot of like complete farm clear out. That's what it felt like as a Mets fan for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
And the Mets farm system has taken a long time to build back up again. And we've got some of the best scouting eyes in the business now, I think. We have got some amazing scouts now that think a bit outside the box, and that I think sort of fits with the whole mentality of the Cohen era. And I don't want to sell the farm because I'd love to win now, but like you say, I'd also love to win in 5 years' time when these boys have got the full experience in the minors and then move up to the majors.
And then they can win consistently for a number of years.
Yes, absolutely.
In theory. I know baseball is built to avoid that, but that's why the farm is so important in baseball, because that's anyway, we've
just touching back on Vientos, there was a game where he started on first. That was an experience.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't quite Rafi Devers' dodge, but
no,
but
it was interesting.
It was interesting. He did not look particularly comfortable there at all.
No, and that could just be that he's not had the playtime because Pete's played, was it 240 odd games consecutively at first base now?
Yeah.
If not more
and he still
by
came
now.
in and got his streak going, bless him.
Yes. I think that was the Tuesday game
Yeah, because he'd gotten a bit bashed up the day before.
Yes, he did take a bit of a beating the day before, but that was not a pretty experience watching from the sidelines.
And that's one of the reasons why I think that Vientos is more vulnerable. He can play DH, but Marte's picked it up with the bat. And you can almost put any of our position players at DH except maybe Tyrone, bless him. You could, and then aside from that, he's got third. And whereas the others have got more options. The others can all DH, but they can all play one or two other positions where we've got more of a need. Whereas his one other position that he's tried has just not really worked.
No, it was a bit of an adventure.
Bless him. But we will see, because there's only it all wraps up on Thursday.
Yes, so, and speaking
Friday,
of Thursday, if you don't have MLB TV, you can have it free for a couple more days. It is free until Thursday, I believe.
That's right.
To sort of tie in with the trade deadline. So maybe catch a couple of games. We do have some UK friendly games in that little period. We have a day game tomorrow as we record, so that is Wednesday the 30th. It is starting at 9:10 UK time, and it's Clay Holmes against
that's
Darvish.
on BT Sport, TNT Sport, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Blake,
yeah,
Blake Holmes and Darvish. That should be an interesting matchup.
yeah. I mean, we can, as it's perfectly done, perfectly done. We've got the next two games against the Padres coming up. So tonight we've got Mania against a newbie, Burger. So in that matchup, all we can hope for is that Mania's Mania.
Yeah,
And it doesn't really
Mania doing
matter.
Mania things. Yep.
Yeah, as Mania doing Mania things. And then it doesn't really matter. The boy stats for now look okay, but it's like a tiny sample size. So he's an unknown, and there isn't going to be a lot of tape on him. There's not going to be a lot. They're going to be learning a lot
Yeah.
kind of on the day about him.
Yeah.
I expect to see a lot of dugout chat about what he's throwing and how it's coming out of his hand. And then, as you mentioned, tomorrow we've got Holmes up against Darvish. Now, Darvish has been out for ages, injured. He's only just come back. He's only played a few games, handful of innings, 4 games. So he's not. I mean, before he was out, like I would be terrified anytime we were facing him.
Mm-hmm.
I would just write that game off. I mean, I would never quite write the game off because you know me.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. But like I would never, it would never be unexpected for us to lose against Darvish, for anyone to lose against Darvish. Since he's been back, he has not quite been himself. I mean, of course, you could then say, well, he's probably due a good one. So that could be against
Not
us.
tomorrow,
But I think it'll depend on. Yes, let's just wait. Give yourself a bit of a break, mate. So I think with that one, I think that's going to we're going to need to see how long Holmes can go, and hope that Darvish isn't still. It's going to take him a little while to stretch out as well. So if we can knock him out in 4th, 5th inning, that would be quite nice. And then after that, we get to see Rafi Devers back at first base as the Giants follow us to Citi Field. So we have a 3-game series against them. And then before we record again, we've got the opening game of the series at home against the Guardians.
Yeah, and it should be mentioned that both Saturday and Sunday this weekend are UK-friendly game times. On Saturday, it's 9:10 again, and it looks like it being Senga.
Yes.
And on Sunday, it's a 6:40 UK, and it's the wonderful TBD.
Yeah, I love a TBD. TBD is going to give me my Sunday bliss. I love my Sunday.
Yes.
Love my Sunday evenings. Although I've got something, I'm sure I'm supposed to be doing something this weekend.
Never mind. It can wait. It's not happening this weekend.
Whatever it is, it can wait. So yeah, we've got. I think I fancy our chances over the next 2 nights against the Padres.
Okay.
Like I said, tonight it's a bit of an unknown, but I have confidence in Mania holding it down until we can figure this boy out. I think if they let this boy go 3rd time through the order, then they'll be ready for him. Tomorrow, hopefully, again, even if Darvish is on it, I feel like he probably won't go all that far. He's probably still, I've not seen for sure, but he's probably still on a pitch count. So hopefully we can knock him out. So I fancy us against the Padres in the next 2 games. But then I fancied us last night until we threw it away. Giants, I don't see us sweeping them this time. Purely because it's so recent. We swept them like this week. And so not only will that be in their minds, they will hate that. They also, they've got that recent familiarity with what they're facing. So, it won't take them much to kind of get back in that groove and learn from from what they went through this week. So, I mean, as long as they keep Rappy at first base, then we've got a chance. So, sorry, I feel awful. I actually really like him. He's a great player. His bat is insane. This is where he comes along now and hits a grand slam against us just to spite me.
Yeah.
But
So when he does, it's all Tor's fault.
it's all my fault. I'll take it. But I'm going to go these next two against the Padres.
Right.
I'm going to go 2 out of 3 against the Giants.
Okay.
I'm optimistic. Really, if I was being a bit more objective, I would maybe even say we might lose that series.
Oh, and what about the? Go on.
No, just purely because it's so recent since we played them, and they will have spent a lot of time looking at a lot of tape from those games, and I think they will use it and benefit from that. And Guardians, who knows with the Guardians? Honestly, they are. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. I'm going to say that we're going to beat them. I'm going to say that we're going to beat them, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't, just because you just never know.
Okay. I think we're going to win the next 2 against the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly lose the first game against the Giants and then take the next 2. Because the Giants are on an L4 at the moment. They might have a bit of bounce back in them, but equally it could be getting them down. Yeah,
maybe.
And with regards to the Guardians, I don't know. It depends kind of what happens with what's been going on in the news recently with them. I had to bring that up, yeah. For those that haven't seen, some players are under investigation by MLB for gambling, which is a very big no-no, particularly if you're betting on your own team, which hasn't been confirmed or denied, but particularly if gambling in general is a no-no, but more so if you're gambling for or against your own team and therefore possibly influencing those results. So it depends which players they've got, whether anyone's been banned at that point.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting thing as well. And the other thing that we have to keep in mind is, and this is going to affect the Guardians more so. We've mentioned we've got the trade deadline until Thursday, so we don't necessarily know. Like the Giants could go and do a whole load of business over the next couple of days. They could really strengthen. Padres could pick someone up and stick them in the lineup tomorrow. Like you don't know. But I think the Guardians are now in a much weaker position in that, because Clase would have been one of their bigger chips to use to trade.
Absolutely.
And now he's off the table. And so not only are they going to have to do something to cover that arm, they can't replace him. But
nobody's going to want to touch him even if they could.
Yeah, but they certainly can't trade him. They're going to have to get some bullpen cover for that somehow. But now they've got less to give up. So it's gonna make it interesting. But I don't expect the Guardians to make a splash trades wise, and they're going to be sellers. But their lineup is going to look different. Come Monday.
Yeah, so I really don't know what's going to happen on Monday. I would like to say that we'd win it, but who knows? Because, like you say, a lot can change during this next few days. It's going
Yeah,
to be an interesting one. We will, of course, tweet anything we see, anything we hear.
of course.
Um, so keep your eye on our socials. It's at Mets in the UK. And if you want to join in trade conversations or any other conversations, use the hashtag MITUK. And we would love to chat with you guys. Um, Speaking of which, we do have a question. It was a bit of a last minute call out for questions. And at Seb underscore black underscore on Twitter. Yes, I still call it Twitter. It's not X in my head, but never mind. So they have asked, assuming you've already explained your Mets fandom here on the podcast, which we have, if you go look on our YouTube shorts, there is a selection of videos called Meet the Mets in the UK. You've got all of our guys on there explaining a bit about our past and
Mhm.
things like that. So go check that out if you haven't already. Have you ever been successful in converting a family member, significant other, or friend to become a Mets fan as well? Have you even tried?
Yeah. Well, I
Tor?
mean, we're constantly we exist to spread the word of the Mets and love of the Mets.
Yes.
That's what we do here at Mets in the UK. Um, but yeah, I mean, I have a friend who, since I've been back in my hometown, comes and watches games. He's gotten all in. He's bought a jersey. You know, he'll text me when he's seen results. Shout out to our Gavin. He's enjoying Mets fandom. I think enjoying is the right word. To be fair, like he's been fairly lucky to this point. I do have to keep
Yeah.
reminding him that it's not always like that. Um, my most proudest one, though, I think, is my little Button, my best friend's little boy. He's about to turn 4. He absolutely loves all things Mets. He loves Howie Rose even more, which is,
Yes.
makes me very
Understandable.
happy. Understandable. Anytime he comes to my house, all he wants to do is to come into Auntie Torto's Mets room. He sometimes we were in a library. it's, it's, I said to his mom, I'll stay in the library with him. You go off and, just have an hour and go and do what you need to do. As soon as his mum left, middle of the library, Auntie Tortor, can we do a Let's Go Mets on 1, 2, 3? Of course we can. Like the most random places. We had to do it somewhere else recently as well. Can we do it? Can we do a Let's Go Mets? He just randomly will come out with, can we do a Let's Go Mets? He insisted on taking his Mets cap on holiday when they went away over summer in May. So he had to take his Mets cap with him, which is even better because our other best friend, Jason, hi Jason, is a Yankees fan and tries and tries and tries in vain to get him to be a Yankees fan. But it's not happening. He is Mets through and through. My poor, long-suffering, my child's dad put up. I don't say put up with it. He tolerated it for like about 12 years, and maybe that was it. Maybe he couldn't take the Mets,
Yeah, it
but
finally drove him off the edge.
yeah, but no, actually that's not the case, because even now, like, we took a journey together to go and fetch our boy. It was a bit of a last minute thing, and it was a Sunday evening. I had the game on. I was just sat watching the game, and so as soon as I got in the car, he let me plug my phone in so that I could listen to it through the speakers. And actually, when we went to visit our boy the other weekend, I had the game in the car so that I could still hear what was going on. So I do what I can, and essentially, if you are anywhere near me and the Mets are on, then you're going to know about the Mets. So I was not even a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard Button do a Let's Go Mets, and it's very cute.
It is very
Very
cute.
cute. For me, my husband is a Mets fan. We became Mets fans at
Very
the same
lucky.
sort of time, which is 20 years this year,
Yeah.
which is insane. Um, and raised my son a Mets fan, which I'm very
Yes.
proud of.
My son refused point blank.
My son wasn't given a choice in the matter.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I would say probably not, other than as Tor says, our very reason for existing is to convert as many people into being Mets fans as possible. Um, but I have made a lot of lovely, lovely friends, including this bunch through the Mets
Absolutely.
and baseball in general, which is a nice segue because
It's
this weekend, from the 1st to the 3rd of August, MLB Europe are hosting an event at Hackney Bridge called the Hackney Takeover. There's going to be batting cages, baseball film screenings, baseball food, live game broadcast. As there's more details become available, we will be posting them on socials. So do keep an eye out.
yeah.
Follow them at MLB Europe, and all the details will be on there. I'm very, very sure. But it, I'm really disappointed that I can't get down to London for that this weekend.
Maybe that's what I had in my head, that I was maybe I was like going to go there. I don't know. I had some. I'm sorry if
Maybe.
I'm meant to be somewhere this weekend and I am not there.
She sends
Sorry.
her apologies.
Yeah. Or try and remind me between now and then. But perhaps that's what I had. Like maybe I had those dates in my head.
And just as a little teaser, keep
Mm.
the 14th of September, which is a Sunday, free if you are in the Sheffield area, which some of us are on Mets in the UK, myself included. There may be something going on.
Hmm.
Details to be confirmed,
Maybe.
but
Maybe.
it involves Sheffield and ourselves and another fan account, but anyone would be welcome
Of
as we love you
course.
all.
Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, details to follow. Keep an eye out on our socials, at Mets in the UK. And I think that's about everything. We've been talking for a while now.
We have.
Well done if you stuck with us. It's been a bit chaotic, but that can be the best sometimes.
Yeah.
So I
It's
guess all
it's because Tom dared to leave us alone again.
yeah, leaving us in charge, Tom, you should know better, Baldy Spice. And I guess all that leaves us to say is let's go Mets.
Let's go Nets.